ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
What should we talk about? Oh, you see now. This was a bad thing for me to do. I should have watched what happened on the previous play, but I didn't, so I don't even know what's going on here. But we can talk about the fog, we can talk about the trip, or we can talk about Miss Teapot's water. I think the fog is most prudent right now. Let's inquire about the fog. What do you think the fog is made of? Who knows? Great. Obviously you don't. Can you just play along for once and speculate? As I spoke, traversing through the seemingly never-ending darkness, I tried following individual stars with my eyes, but every time I focused on a single one, it was quick to leave my field of vision. Though they shined brilliantly inside the darkness, they either didn't want attention or were messing with me. Oh, I would not be surprised if these stars end up being revealed as, like, ghosts or something. Even if they were, at least they were pretty. How vain. I feel a bit silly now being here and seeing this place. To think I was so scared of such a beautiful place. Oh yeah, look at all that beauty. Yes, I do agree you were being very silly. This is one very, snide teapot. In fact, you're still being ridiculously silly, taking me with you and all. That's true, but you know what? If you're gonna go into a strange place, you might as well take a hostage. Ignoring the snide remark, see, she agrees. Snide, that was the adjective I used. I returned to the topic at hand. This fog feels kind of warm. It's weird. How is it weird? Well, usually fog forms when there's a big difference between the surface and air temperature, right? You tell me. After all, I am only a teapot. Well, okay, I guess you don't know. What's weird is that both the surface and the fog are warm. Frankly, I think the coloration is more peculiar. That's a very good point, teapot. I will say one thing. I'm glad the teapot doesn't have, like, a face, because I don't think that's necessary. Finally, Miss Teapot was Oh, I said Mrs. Teapot earlier. I'm sorry, I didn't want to imply she was married. Finally, Miss Teapot was contributing to the conversation. Hell might as well have frozen over, or have gotten significantly warmer than the surface temperature. That's true. When I saw the water around the table, it was clear and mainly reflected the color of the light above. It didn't have this weird purple glow at all. Don't sound so happy all of a sudden. It's disgusting. Yes, I too hate other people's happiness as we near the holiday season after all. Your voice sounds better when you aren't. That's a funny thing to say to somebody. You know something? You're more appealing when you're miserable. I'm sorry. Hell had clearly not frozen over, and wouldn't freeze over anytime soon. Alright. Okay, well, we still get to talk about the other things. We could talk about her water, or we could talk about the trip. Yeah, I think she's only going to complain about her trip, and she's probably going to get upset with us if we try talking about her, personal, innards, but we'll talk about the trip. How long will it take us to get the tea? Depends on how quick your dainty legs are. Obviously, but you didn't really answer my question. Yeah, I got a new layout. I figured I'd try something a little different, because it didn't really look good for some of the games I was playing last time. You don't deserve it after kidnapping me. Just admit that you don't know the answer. It struck me that I didn't actually know how big this space was. I could end up walking aimlessly for days. Was this space going to be as big as a warehouse, a country, or the whole Earth? Those are three. Yeah, you know what? I think those three go up exponentially. What if it was infinite and never-ending? A space even bigger and massive than even our universe. Let's get walking. Even thinking about it made me dizzy. Without really thinking about it, my grip on Mrs. Teapot tightened and I froze in place. Hey, don't squeeze so hard. That's quite unnecessary. We're not getting anywhere if you're just gonna stand here like a fool. Ah, I'm sorry. Despite how unpleasant she was, the fierce yet breezy voice snapped me out of my toxic train of thoughts. I loosened my finger's grip and took a deep breath. All would be fine, probably. I like that she said she was the one with toxic thoughts. I think the only toxic person in this entire relationship would be our teapot friend here. I didn't need to think about things that were unnecessary. My mind tended to wander off into thinking grim thoughts, and this was just another case of that happening. Is there anything I should keep an eye out for? Tea. I shouldn't have expected any other answer, huh? That was clever. I like that. I'm cool with that. Let's ask her about her water now. If she's gonna be rude to us, we're gonna be rude to her. Do you refill automatically? Maybe. Why are you asking? Answer me first and then I'll tell you. I don't want to know the answer that badly. I sighed. Why did she have to be so difficult? Those damn teapots. That meant I just had to figure it out myself. Dump her out. Find out. Miss Teapot's steam supply seemed never-ending, so I could safely presume that she was being magically refilled or producing the water herself. A teapot of her size should have been empty by now. Plus, it wasn't just the supply of water. The heat must be regulated by some kind of magic as well. You think too much. You will get wrinkles early if you keep that up. We should stay alive if I pour... Would she stay alive if I poured all the water out of her? Would it hurt her? That was only one way to find out. I mean, it's not really like her company has been that great. That's not a reason to maybe murder someone. Surely not, since she was meant to serve tea. But then again, females of most species are meant to give birth. And that was something that's biologically normal, yet was said to be painful. No one of any gender is meant to do anything. Game, I'll have you know. Jesus. Well, that could have been more casually sexist, I guess, but it held off. Hey, what would happen if I poured water inside of you all at once? I'm assuming Miss Teapot's gonna have a snide remark, but I'd love it if she says something along the lines of, I don't know, what would happen if I poured all your blood out? That simply is not possible. Ah, I see, so it is a limitless supply. That's good. Limitless tea. Hell yeah. It meant that if necessary, I could use Miss Teapot as a weapon. Why would you want to use a teapot? Or it means that I can cut off the supply at any time I see fit to do so. In other words, I'll need to throw both her and the potential danger off. If something bad happens, I need to act swiftly. If that doesn't work, I'll have to chuck her at the threat and run. I didn't know for how long I'd been walking, but it felt like it had been hours. Maybe it was just me being an impatient person, but everything was starting to feel incredibly pointless. Was I even going to find anything? Did it matter whether I acquired any tea? What was the point of getting tea for a guest who might never even come? This is like one of life's great mysteries, I gotta tell you. Why did I have to be the one to get tea? I probably wouldn't find tea out here either. It was dumb to think I would. I say, of the last major games I've played, I played Fall Streak, and that had a weird obsession with pasta and cauliflower. This one's all in on tea. Hopefully there's another mission where we have to go get biscuits. Right as that thought crossed my mind, I saw it. I could have easily missed it if I hadn't happened to gaze over at it by chance. Let's get a little barnacle problem here. Might want to scrape those off. There, in the distance, was a paper bag being held up by something dark. As I came closer, I saw something that resembled an adult hand holding a paper bag filled with tea leaves. But I couldn't feel any joy about finally having found what I was looking for. That hand didn't look natural at all. It looked like it was made out of a mass of small black beads. The beads moved and squirmed like maggots, making a disgusting wet sound as they moved. Unlike maggots, they would occasionally pulse as well. What? What the hell was that? Oh, this game cursed. Should never curse. The hand appeared to be hovering in the air due to the dense fog. The hand itself stayed still. It would have looked like a statue if not for the squirming and pulsing beads that formed it. All I knew was that I didn't want to get any closer to it. We'll just pour some hot water on it and find out what it does. What are you waiting for, dear? That's the tea. The teapot called me dear again, as if she was trying to comfort me. She probably wasn't, though. Very negative. I hadn't even noticed how hard my hands were gripping the teapot's warm porcelain surface. The knuckles on my left hand turned white, and I had accidentally tilted my hold on her. Uh-oh, strangling the teapot. Fucking teapot. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, trying to steady my breathing, but the disgusting sound the beads produced made it impossible to calm down. Arguably, only hearing it squirm made things worse. Come on, you're just about done. You just need to take the tea. We can head back as soon as you get it. I peeked behind me, but I didn't see the tea table's light at all. Getting back was going to take me forever. If it attacked, I could only rely on Miss Teapot. All you need to do is just follow your instincts again, and we'll get back there. All right, I understand. Slowly, I walked up to the hand. I couldn't see a body attached to it. It looked like it had manifested within the mist itself. I looked over at the paper pack of tea and tried to focus on the tea inside it instead of on the hand. Ah, Darjeeling. That's delicious. Oh, it's a type of tea, I guess. I'm not a tea connoisseur. I know of, like, two. I know chamomile and Earl Grey. I guess there's another Earl-colored tea as well, but I don't know what that is. Like green tea, black tea. I know the colors of tea, and that's about as far as I go. Thank you for very much for the wonderful tea. Mixed up a couple words there. Trying to make conversation with the entity might be a bad idea, but being polite never hurt anyone. Or maybe it did, but was left unreported. Oh, jeez. The owner of the hand didn't reply as I stopped supporting the bottom part of Miss Teapot and reached out to the surprisingly dry tea package. Trying to keep my focus on having a stable grip on her with my left hand, I avoided staring too much at the pulsating, beady hand. Hastily yanking the tea out of the hand's grip, the beads offered little resistance as I politely bowed my head. The hand hovered in the air for a little while longer as I took my distance, taking a few steps back. The beads that had held the hand fell apart and sublimed into the dense fog before they even hit the floor. Somebody call Sancho. I got something for his punk ass. As it fell apart, I thought I saw some kind of tendrils in between the beads fall with them that had probably kept the beads together. Though it had spooked me a little, the beads luckily hadn't attempted to grab me or crawl onto me. At that point, they'd have just been like soot sprites. Just flick them off. So, I guess they were part of the fog? I mean, they disappeared into the fog before they could even fall into the water. If so, why didn't they just manifest sooner? Yeah, inconsiderate entities that I don't know nothing about. Perhaps they wanted you to work for it. Maybe, who knows? Turn around. Huh? Did you say something? No. Have you gone daft, child? It wasn't that scary. What kind of coward are you? Damn, Teapot, I mean, I made it out here. Wow, you went right back to being your usual caustic self, huh? Turn around. You need to turn around. There it was again, an intrusive thought that couldn't have been part of my own. I couldn't even compare it to the weird thoughts that would pop up during the potentially dangerous situations. Like when you hold a knife in your hand and think, I could actually stab myself or someone else right now. I wouldn't, but I could. Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought that while holding any type of knife. At all. It's a butter knife spreading butter, steak knife cutting steak, or even like a really big knife cutting open really obnoxious blister packs. I don't think even when I've come close to accidentally stabbing myself, have I ever thought, I might stab myself. Or worse, someone else. Or, like, when you stand at the top of a high structure or cliff and think, I could jump right now and I would die. Just like that. I don't think like that. Thoughts like that are probably our survival instincts hinting at the most awful outcome of a situation, so that we recoil and avoid letting things come to that. You could have just said my fight or flight instincts kicked in. However, this thought wasn't that kind of intrusive thought. It wasn't the voice of my internal monologue, nor was it my survival instinct. No, what we're reading out loud right now is your internal monologue. Though I heard the words as if they had come from my own mind, I knew that they weren't mine. For some reason, I felt like it was the hand's owner. It was like the being was calling out to me. Not with its voice, but rather by planting its will directly inside of my head. Shivers ran down my spine as cold sweat rolled down forehead. I hadn't noticed how unsteady my breathing had gotten. My hands instantly turned clammy. Keeping my grip on Miss Teapot steady was getting harder. I anxiously bit my lip as I tightened my grip. Oh, that was like a fun little rhyme. Onto her handle and the bag of tea in my other hand. Don't want anything happen to that tea now. You never know if it might become sentient as well. As I took a deep breath, I gathered the courage I needed to force myself to turn around. Oh, this isn't you turning around, I guess. Everything I had been afraid of up till now had turned out to be fine. So this, too, should be fine. Oh, are we gonna see something spooky? Right? And so, against my better judgment, I turned around. Oh, only to find out that was the end of the demo. Oh!